Today we're going to be talking about the new Netflix original show, Spectros, so let's get started. Hey everybody, my name is Justin. I love to watch movies and I also love to watch Netflix. If you guys do too, you guys are in the right spot. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more up and coming videos. Today we're going to talk about the new Brazilian-Japanese show called Spectros, which I totally forgot was released on Thursday, so I was a little bit late on watching this show, which is about a group of teenagers who get unintentionally involved in a conflict between Japanese ghosts and Brazilian witchcraft. I was anticipating watching this show. I liked the poster and I liked the idea of mixing two cultures, Japanese culture and Brazilian culture, together in this show, but this show ultimately fell flat. It is a frustrating show to get through that honestly could have worked just as a Netflix movie, because this 7-episode series, about 39, I think one of them is 60 minutes long, it repeats everything multiple times. The structure within this show sets up our initial ghost story and then shows these 3 teenagers involved in a crime, and now they are in jail and they are being questioned, and then we go back to how they got to where they are, and they show those scenes over many times. They want us to remember how important they are, and it's all involving this doll that has ashes that could stop the dead from rising. That is our main story, and it's stretched so thin that none of it really feels that important or that entertaining, because we are seeing it over and over again. There's multiple times where in the show where one scene is shown throughout many times and it's told in a different perspective. It has the same result and it really ultimately doesn't do much. So what I found most frustrating about this show is the structure and how it's presented, because I do like the idea of the show and some elements do work, but ultimately how it's shown to the audience is really bad. Taking like 3 or 4 main events and showing them again and again, and that's why I think it would have worked as a movie if you could have had a linear storage and not kind of jumbled all over the place. It definitely would have worked better than this show. And our 3 main characters in here are just really mediocre characters. They all have crappy personalities. They're really aggressive to each other at times for really no reason. You really don't get to understand who they are, and the relationships as it grows throughout the show is something that doesn't turn to be something fun amongst the 3. They're battling the dead, and it's not a fun relationships amongst the 3 of them, because each one individually has a character, has a personality that's not really welcoming. And so when you get all 3 of them together, and a couple of the girls have a past and they struggle to get along with each other now, you always feel frustrated when watching their relationship. And the show centers around this doll that has this ashes in it, and these ashes can stop the dead from rising. So many people are looking for it, and you never feel like that's the main part of the story. There are times where people are dead and they're walking around town, and it's supposed to be impactful and it's supposed to be a really large part of the story, but it never really feels like it's amounting to much. It's all feel like it's in the background, and we are centering on the conflict amongst these 3 teenagers, them in jail, them being questioned, and then slowly, very slowly, getting towards our main part of the story, and it's pretty much over at that point. And the show wants to remind us several times that these ashes are so important to the story that it's beating it over the head several times, and I kind of just given up about episode 4, where I've seen the same scenes over and over again. The same dialogue was throughout, the same structure. Nothing about it was really going anywhere for me. So I found overall Spectros to be a really disappointing, frustrating show. I like the idea behind it. I like the mixture of cultures. It could have been a really good solo just movie without being a show. And I think it would have worked, but the way that it was presented going back and forth between the stories and leading up to where we are now. It was a poor choice, and it didn't really work out for this show. I thought it was a very frustrating show that could have been better. My wife joined in on the show about episode 5. She laughed so much because of how poorly it was, and there was one moment where the group was doing karaoke and it was telling them everything they needed to know about the ashes and what they could do to stop the dead. It was a poor way of telling your story. So before I give my final thoughts and score for Spectros, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and comment, have you seen Spectros? What do you think about it? And what was your favorite episode of the, I think 7 or 8 episodes? Which one was your favorite? None of them were my favorite. But thank you guys for making me hit 6,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate the support along the way. It truly, truly means a lot to me, and I can't wait for the journey ahead. So Spectros, I was looking forward to it. So I see the upcoming section on Netflix, and I see this poster. I thought, oh, that's a really cool poster. I really wanted to check this show out, and I forgot that it was released on Thursday instead of Friday. So I was a little behind on watching it, and I wish that I didn't watch it because it is a poorly written show that the structure is just overall really, really bad. I'm going to go ahead and give Spectros a D. What Netflix show should I check out next and review for you guys? Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys would like for me to check out. My name is Just Watch Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.